and so we save and $50 by doing it ourselves. Hey everyone, I'm Chris, and in today's video I'm going to show you guys some of the things that we end up doing as property investors. Some of you may know, if you've been following my journey for a while, that we own an investment property that we self-manage in order to save money. We've owned this property for around 2 years now, and the trees are getting overgrown. We contacted multiple people to give us a quote, and let me just say, it's so hard to find tree cutters or arborists here in Wellington. It's either they're slammed with work, they say they'll show up but never end up coming, and the guy that finally showed up quoted us $2,500 to cut the trees. For us, $2,500 is a lot of money. We knew it was going to be hard work, but still we decided to do it ourselves. Between me and my husband, we purchased multiple tools for the job, and we also hired a very large skip bin to take the rubbish away. It's also the middle of winter here in New Zealand, so we really needed to choose the day carefully because Ray's only available on the weekend because of his job. And then the other thing is the availability of the skip bin. So we reserved the skip bin maybe a week and a half before the actual day that we chose. We checked the weather app before reserving the skip bin, and it said it was going to be sunny that particular weekend that we chose. But of course, closer to the date and on the actual day, the weather forecast changed and it was raining. We also decided to hit three birds with one stone. On that day, I did the quarterly property inspection, and I also had a plumber come because he needed to do 2 jobs, and of course, we were cutting trees. Ray was in charge of the electric saw, and I was in charge of the hedge shears, which I actually enjoyed, but to be honest, there wasn't much I could do because the branches were really thick, and that was really a job for the electric saw. So what I started doing was dragging the branches from the front yard to the backyard. I think the cutting took about an hour, and it was actually getting rid of the branches that took so long because there were just so many of it. We dragged the branches from the backyard to the front yard. We attached this large tarp to my car, so we lifted the branches onto the tarp and we drove the car down the driveway, lifted the branches again towards the skip bin, because the skip bin, they can only park it on street level. They couldn't really park it on our property, and I think we did that about 8 times. Like I said, it was the branches that was really hard to do, dragging them and lifting them over your head towards the skip bin. I remember there was this really large branch that I attempted to do, but I couldn't do it. I think I was also really exhausted at that time, so I just left it for Ray to do. We stopped for lunch around midday. We went to the Chinese takeaway and we ate there, and by afternoon, we were so sick of doing what we were doing. My back was really sore, and also the rain was getting heavier in the afternoon. I remember there was one time where we just sat in the car waiting for the rain to subside while also taking a break. And by the end of it, we filled the skip bin to the top. Ray had to climb over it multiple times to stomp on the branches, and the whole thing took us about 6 hours. We originally planned for this with 2 of Ray's friends to help us, and we would pay them, but they canceled, and so it was just me and Ray in the end. Even though it was hard work, I'm still glad we did it because we saved so much money, and now we have the tools to do the tree maintenance ourselves in the future. We can also use the tools to cut the trees in our own property because in this house, we're also surrounded by a lot of trees. The only thing I would change in the future if we're cutting the same amount of trees is that I would make sure there are people who would help us. I'm willing to pay someone $25 an hour, and that would drastically reduce the amount of time we're working on the trees. Even paying someone, that would still be cheaper compared to hiring an actual arborist for $2,500 to do the entire job. When we finally finished the job, on the way home, we dropped by the liquor store and Ray bought himself a $65 bottle of whiskey. And the day after, I got a $60 massage. That was our way of rewarding ourselves. I wish I could say that was tax deductible, but it's not. And also, the tenant sent us this message. They're happy, we're happy, and I'm glad we did the job. Now, this is the part wherein I share with you guys how much money we save because I love doing the math. We purchased a lot of tools, so we got the tarp and the rope for $36 and $9 respectively. We got the electric pole pruner for $158, oil for the pruner, head shears for $30, gloves for Ray. I used my snowboarding gloves and that did the job. We bought an extension cord for $20, metal hose reel for the extension cord for $45. So for all the materials that we bought, it totaled to $330. On top of that, we also ordered the 7 cubic meter skip bin, and that was $320. This one is tax deductible, so our grand total came to be $650, and so we save $1,850 by doing it ourselves. So that's the story of how we spent our weekend being property investors here in New Zealand. It's not all rainbows and butterflies wherein you sit at home in your couch collecting rent money. It's not like that at all, especially here in New Zealand wherein properties are expensive and the cash flow isn't that great. But we do it anyway for the sake of financial freedom, and it's still worth it, to be honest. If you want to check out our journey with regards to real estate investing, I'm going to put a whole playlist right here and you can check it out. Thank you guys again for spending your weekend with me, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye!